It's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you're right about that. Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
All right, that was a little awkward, to put it mildly. The Supreme Court justice is there as the President of the United States is fingering them and saying they botched another decision. If this is ringing a bell here, it should. I want you to pay attention to what Barack Obama did, essentially the same thing 14 years ago. Take a look.
With all due deference to separation of powers, last week the Supreme Court reversed a century of law that I believe will open the floodgates for special interests, including foreign corporations, to spend without limit in our elections.
Remember Justice Alito there, the lower left of your screen? He was not happy about what he was hearing. It's probably a good thing we couldn't hear exactly what he was saying. John Yoo was the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the United States, UC Berkeley law professor. John, I just think that you could obviously have your differences with the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court with you. But to call them out and to not recognize the separation of powers and how decisions are made and what you as the executive branch leader, in this case the president, can do going forward, that's a whole different matter. And I just think this constantly putting the focus on them, it just seems wrong. What do you think?
First, Biden really made sure that there aren't going to be any justices at next year's State of the Union. There's no... Right. This is something I'm not even sure they should do anymore. There's so many partisan attacks, partisan demands at the State of the Union. The justices are there to show institutional support for the nation, and Biden's just making it harder and harder for them to be there. But I think it's inappropriate actually for two more important reasons. One is, and I don't think people caught this during the commentary afterwards, this is a president whose administration is going to the Supreme Court right now to knock out his main competitor. They're at the Supreme Court right now trying to prosecute Donald Trump. What happens if they win? What happens if the administration does succeed in stripping immunity from President Trump for prosecution? People are going to say Biden browbeat the Supreme Court in person, and the Supreme Court bent its knee, bent a little bit to this political pressure. Biden actually needs the Supreme Court to be institutionally independent and strong during this time. And all he's doing is making it more a political target.
And you think about it, too, because not only is the Supreme Court in attendance, but you have the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the military representatives, the full House, the full Senate. So it is an institution. Well, always know it's political on these things. It's politics on steroids right now. And you get this. But, you can go back to the time Nancy Pelosi was ripping up Donald Trump's speech as he was wrapping things up. Decorum is gone. That's not a legal issue. But I'm just wondering if it's, and you touched on it, John, whether it's worth the Supreme Court justices even showing up.
I don't think so. And they're only there by choice. They don't have to go. It's a tradition. Okay. I remember there's been some years when only one or two justices came. But here's even more important issue is Joe Biden and his party are the ones who are saying we're standing up for institutions. We're the one who are defending the country, democracy from Donald Trump. That starts to ring hollow when he turns right around in front of the country at the State of the Union and starts attacking one of the most important institutions in our country. Suppose something crazy happens next January 20th or next January 6th. Our country is going to need a Supreme Court that's independent and above politics to help resolve any kind of controversies, just like they did last time. Biden's harming himself and harming the country if he starts attacking them this way. The justices would be smart, I think, to preserve their independence and not go to the State of the Union anymore.
Yeah, and maybe the president had the answer himself if he didn't, introduce it by bashing the court, by saying, all right, let the American people decide this an election and how they really feel about it, but leave it at that. But let me ask you a little bit about some of these other issues that are still out there. Fani Willis in Atlanta, on this case that just can't go away. Is it your sense, I think the judge has another week to decide whether she should go, or I don't know if it goes so far as him dropping the case entirely, but what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, Neil, now we're going from the very heights, the august heights of the judicial system.
I know.
Oh, God, to its very, very worst. In this case,
Right.
where you've seen all these lurid details come out now about how the DA's office in Fulton County is working. I find it hard to believe a trial judge at this point isn't going to say, in the best interest of justice, in order to preserve the integrity of the justice system in Fulton County so that people have faith in prosecutors, people have faith in what judges do, I can't allow Fani Willis to stay in charge of this case. That doesn't mean Donald Trump gets acquitted. That just means that the state will move the case to another prosecutor somewhere else in Georgia.
But when you say another prosecutor, her whole office has got to be embarrassed by this. So they're out. If she goes, they're out. But where else does this case go? Explain the process to me.
Yeah, this is a little bit murky because it doesn't get used very much. But
Yeah.
for one, you're right, Neil. The whole office is going to be disqualified, I think, because you're seeing witnesses from within the office who are being asked, did you know about Fani and her buddy? Did you not know? When were they getting paid? They're all kind of implicated. So Georgia has a process where you go to a council, and this state council will decide where else do we move the case. And so they have to pick another prosecutor, another district attorney somewhere in the system. But Donald Trump wins just by getting that far because that new prosecutor will want to take a whole new look at the case. They may even disagree with Fani Willis and say, there's no case here, or Donald Trump's First Amendment rights preclude us from prosecuting. Even if a prosecutor agrees, they still got to look at the facts again. If you were, Neil, if you were a prosecutor and someone said, do you want to go forward with this case? You would say, let me look at it, and then I'll
Right.
decide for myself. That's going to take months and months, and I think there's no way Donald Trump gets tried in Georgia then.
Switching gears yet again, the $91 million Donald Trump has now put up in this E. Jean Carroll case. He's obviously appealing that. But if he loses on appeal, she gets all that money, right?
Yeah, this is interesting because this is just the first test of Donald Trump's ability to borrow money now for the even bigger appeal, which is the $350 to $450 million verdict he lost to the Attorney General about whether he was inflating his his assets for mortgages.
Right.
So the interesting thing is he was able to get a bond from the Chubb Insurance Company. Neil, you're an expert in the insurance business. I definitely am not. I just pay whatever State Farm tells me to pay. But right, he was able to get $91 million bond, which shows that he's not going to get cut off. I think a lot of people were worried. The state has just said you can't borrow from Donald Trump, yet he was able to go to the markets and get a loan.
Wow, wild stuff. A lot to follow, John. Thank you very much. John Yoo following all these quick-moving legal